Modern Precure villains in a nutshell. We open this week with Uta pulling a slight Nagisa with her very briefly recounting the events of the previous episode, which did effectively show how much of a shocking after effect it had on her. Partially, it was the reveal that Prune was Zukyun, but mostly it was her fairy friend not recognizing her. Understandably, it was difficult for her to process that her Oshi was also her amnesiac best friend, which was kind of preventing her from consolidating all of it. That said, she probably should have paid attention in class too. Oh, come on, I thought that was a great reading of Hamlet. The Cures were there regroup at the Cafe Glitter, along with a homeless dude. Okay, actually it was Tanaka, who just got back from Kirakira Land. Well, okay, so did he come back with some useful intel? I mean, not just for the Precure, but also us, the audience, as we do already know most of this exposition.
Sure, Jan.
Yeah, any bets on how long this is actually going to take? On a bit of a side note, the opening and prologue remained unchanged, which I kind of get, not including Zukyun and Kiss until they at least fully joined the team. But was this pretty boy always here? Probably not important. Just get back to the dramatic Yuri stuff. Anyway, Tanaka recounted his rather depressing trip back to his destroyed homeworld, which resulted in him becoming that disheveled. Well, just play it off as a joke, and I'm sure no one has to think about those really depressing implications. But yeah, unfortunately, while Tanaka managed to inform the Precure of what was going on, it really was an ANU exposition for us. Sure, it made for an effective dramatic moment for Uta, especially through some of these very nice camera angles, but it was still mostly redundant, except for the seeming confirmation that Meron did sacrifice something that maybe the Queen knew, but wasn't telling for whatever reason. In any case, my criticism of the Queen not being able to contact them for plot convenient reasons still kind of stands. And if it turns out she's just needlessly hiding something when she really doesn't have to, I'm gonna start calling her, no, not exactly. There you go. Go watch K-Pop Demon Hunters in Yoga. It's a pretty good little time. I should probably do a little quick review of it. Anyway, Uta of course figured that they should at least try to find and talk to the fairies for starters, and fortunately they knew of one place they might have gone to if they didn't go back to Uta's. Yeah, I found a couple of squatters here. No, you don't have to send the frozen water, guys. Seriously, this is probably my favorite joke of this episode, with Meron even outright trying to say this is their personal love nest, even though I'm pretty sure her name isn't on the lease. Also, yeah, I guess they avoid the Cure Earth situation, but I'm still gonna call them homeless Cures if they're squatting. That said, it also did highlight how Meron was still continuing the clingy Kuroko act as much as ever, which yeah, really makes me wonder what did she sacrifice, if anything, because again, I really hope it's something significant, or there's at least a good explanation why she seems to be unchanged. Because compared to her Neitama, she got off real easy. You're just trying to avoid all of those copyright claims. Look, we all have to deal with them eventually. At the same time, Tanaka tried to reclaim his house by revealing who he was to Prune, both through his touch, and surprisingly enough, since he didn't do it the first time, his fairy form. Though to be fair, with a plain-ass design like this, maybe he was just trying to hide it. Like seriously, that hair does not look good on a deformed fairy body, just saying. That said, I did kind of like the voice Junichi Suabe put on for this fairy form, as it was both kind of funny, and also something from what he usually does, as almost always, he just goes with that gruff pre-poi voice, so it's actually interesting to hear him do something different for once. But yeah, with this, they were given a good idea of how much Prune remembered, which of course was everything preluding the first episode of this series, and Cure Idol minus Uta. With that, the Cure itself was able to come up with a plan to help jar Prune's memories, which would start by getting them to agree to go on a picnic with them. Of course, Meron should have tried to stop them if our theory about Prune losing her powers if she gains back her memories was true.
I'm starting to fear that you're not very smart.
With that, they started their picnic trip with a little hike, but Tanaka didn't fall for some reason, which I would have questioned why, until they did a nice little bit of visual storytelling to confirm that they had a plan, which was really well done, so kudos there. Anyway, they started with some more basic methods, like trying to get Prune to remember the pouch they were riding in, which of course wasn't going to work, so they moved on to something stronger. Ooh, is it time for the Dome Bros and Gojuja crossover already? Come on, we all know it's gonna happen. I mean, the writers of those shows are father and daughter. Also, looking back at the first episode, reminded me that Uta did have some good meme faces back then, and thankfully, with Yutaka Tsuchida directing this episode, we finally got some more thanks to their focus on comedy. Anyway, when the fake peach didn't work out, probably because it looks like they painted a rock, just go with paper mache next time, they tried another callback to the first episode with E Honda, who was mostly just there for a fat guy joke because that hasn't been overplayed to all hell. So when that, of course, didn't work, they tried a couple of different bits of product placement. I mean, to be fair, I think everyone's trying to move on from Heath Ledger's Joker at this point. Also, nice to see that Nana is a Next Generation fan. Out of ideas, the Precure were about ready to give up, which Marilyn second, which, yeah, if that were the case, maybe should have resisted this picnic a little harder. Still, Uta was determined, so they continued, and for the remainder of the trip, they got on some lifts. From there, along with scouting out the obvious victim of the week, it let Uta have a moment with Meron to thank her for helping grant Purin's wish. It was a very strong character moment for the pink lead, showing that while she very much still wants her friend back, she acknowledged that it wasn't as important as letting Purin get her wish granted, which, again, if our theory is correct, it's going to lead to quite the little conundrum later. I think this is also meant to be set up for Meron to loosen up her grip on preventing Prune from getting her memories back, as she realizes that she deserves to have them. With that, the Precure finally got to sit down and eat, and of course Uta tried to use food to remind Prune of their time together with octopus wieners, even though Meron had gotten her hooked on crab wieners, which I was surprised to learn is also a decorative way of serving up wieners alongside the cephalopod. Now, if only Mr. Krabs and Squidward could get along as well. Meanwhile, Zachary had arrived, and thankfully it wasn't just being a total simp like his former cohort, and was actually kind of relatable as a dude who was being overworked due to understaffing at his workplace. Thus, I did kind of side with him when this douchey runner passed him.
Don't say it! Don't you say it! Left. Come on!
This resulted in him creating a Marty McFly monster, and the Precure engaged it, not realizing its weakness was hitting its head. In the process, Prune of course learned that Uta and Cure Idol were one and the same, and ended up pulling out her glow stick, which might have been by accident, or maybe instinctively, being that it was a key to unlocking her memories. With that, the Cures fought Marty with mostly stock animation. Yeah, it was obvious that they were saving up the real Sakuga for the Six Rangers, who on that note joined the fight. And sure enough, they got the absolute best animation of the episode, albeit a really short sequence, and of course they sent the monster back to the future. Overall, not a great fight this week, but to be fair, the real takeaway was what happened before and after it, as Prune ended up dropping her light, which with the rain coming in, Uta quickly tried to find it. She seemingly succeeded, but not before getting drenched and ending the episode on a really good dramatic note, with her passing out, likely from a cold. This was a great character episode for Uta, who, after the past couple of weeks of simping, it's nice that they've completely changed gears. It not only prevented the joke from overstaying its welcome, but also acted as a good setup for future developments. Because it's clear that once Prune inevitably gets to that point where she will start to get her memories back, Uta is going to have a bit of a tough choice to deal with. The writer this week was Yuniko Ayana, who, yeah, with her track record at this point, I kind of wish she had been the head writer of this show. I mean, no disrespect to Yoichi Kato, as I do see his vision for the show, but I just think Ayana might have been able to pull it off better. I mean, for one thing, I think she has overall the strongest character writing in the show, with a lot of focus going to the relationships between the characters, which, yeah, includes a lot of Yuri, which, to be fair, is a heavy element in this current arc. In the case of this episode, which was also a bit of a mini recap, it was all about the relationship between Prune and Uta, with the latter desperately trying to reforge it. They really got across our lead's urgency through some effective visual storytelling with her body language. They also really highlighted her really amiable morals by showing how she still respected Prune's wish, even if she didn't personally approve of her sacrifice. Thus, if it is that Prune can't have both her memories and Precure powers at the same time, it would lead to a great quandary between them and Meron, who remains shady as all hell if committing actual crimes wasn't bad enough. On that note, I also mostly like the comedy this week, with some more subtle gags rather than just some pure slapstick all the time. That, plus the great character writing for Uta, made this overall a great rising action episode for the current story arc. It's hard to say whether or not the power of love will be able to restore Prune's past, but we'll just have to wait and see in the future. Thanks for watching, and if you happen to be suffering from memory loss, well, you should probably go see a doctor about that, and then you can come back and watch these videos. We've got something new coming out almost every day, and are experimenting with some new content. Look forward to Princession tomorrow. Until then, though, fair for now, my friends, and yeah, sounds like there's a couple of squires at my place. Let me just go deal with that. Hey, get out of here, you freeloaders!